I love to be the underdog when it comes to a guns-only dogfight with dissimilar aircraft. However, today's video is going to be different, as both me and my opponent will both be flying the Mirage 2000C. It's been a long time since I've fought the same aircraft. In fact, I can't remember the last time I fought another Mirage 2000. And if you've been watching my channel, you probably know my favorite way to dogfight is basic fighter maneuvers, guns only, in a clean configuration to get the maximum performance out of our jets. Now, normally this would be the time that I'd say, let's go look at the charts at DCS Dogfighters to determine our game plan, where our jet's going to perform its best, whether it be one circle or two circle. But because we're in the same aircraft, and I've never faced my opponent before, so I don't know his tendencies, I think the safest game plan is to go two circle off the merge and test him in the rate. We're seconds from merging, and I'm very anxious to see what his first turn is going to be. My first turn is going to be what I think is a safe merge, an oblique merge. I check my speed because it looks like he's taking us up. I relax my stick, making sure I have enough energy to follow. His aspect changes, so I think he pulled there. And since we have so much altitude, I'm going to take this opportunity to nose down and cut some of the circle, being mindful not to cut across so much that we put us in a head-on. We want to keep it in the two-circle rate. Now, I was initially happy with this turn. As I looked down at my HUD, I was about 380. That's good rate speed, but I accidentally lost a little bit of speed at the very end. And that is because I did roll and pull at the same time, which can really slow down the Mirage 2000. The entire Mirage body will act like an air brake. I like to set the roll first and then pull. And speaking of pulling, it looks like he just pulled pretty hard. I'm not liking how these circles are lining up. I check where he is in the circle and it looks like he is ahead. I'm going to increase my speed to close to 400, try to move my circle a bit and get a better misalignment. He also pulled pretty hard back there, so he's probably slower and not at rate speed, and he's losing some of the angles that he momentarily gained. And see how my nose is down under the horizon here? I'm going to intentionally build my speed to 370, give myself a little extra energy to pull with, and the misalignment is already in my favor, and I'm going to pull here and try to take a shot. That wasn't even close, but that was just a test pull, and those shots were just a warning, and I think we've now got him worried. At this point, I've got the circles misaligned in my favor, and when he's at the top of my screen, I'm going to pull him in to take a shot, and if I stay within my rate band, I should be able to do this to him over and over. He does a good jink, but then he does a bad reversal, but he didn't really have a choice and he had to do something because I had him trapped in that misaligned circle. I would have continually been able to pull for the shot over and over. Now it's just a matter of me keeping him out in front and hitting my shots. Looks like we land shots right down the middle of his fuselage, and both wings appear to be damaged and missing parts. That shot takes off his nose cone. It looks like he's going down, but we're going to track him just to make sure. I'm going to let him fly under me, and then I'll drop back in behind him.
You can't be too careful. Whoa! Looks like when they made this villain, they forgot to put in the quit.
He's dead.
Wait for it. Round 2. Some background on the Mirage 2000C per the DCS website. It is a multi-role French-designed 4th generation fighter, designed in the 1970s as a lightweight fighter. It is a single-engine, low-seat delta wing with no horizontal tail. It has excellent maneuverability given its relaxed stability and fly-by-wire flight control system. And I'll just add, in my own opinion, I think the Mirage 2000 is overall the #2 best fighter, guns only, in DCS. And I give it that position because I prioritize the rate, and it is only second to the Hornet, and it also beats everything else in the one circle except the Su-27, which it handily beats in the rate. Now, I had started my left-hand turn pre-merge, and my hostile looks like he's trying to put it back into a one circle, but he changes course and he stays fast. Looks like he's using some high energy tactics.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I'm trying to keep my roll fairly level, being very light on the stick, trying to keep as much speed as I can, because it does look like he might try to take me up in an upward spiral, or maybe just up for some altitude. I find myself being susceptible to good players that like to utilize the high-speed extension pitchback maneuver. I do find myself losing to that. Lucky for me though, he is diving back down toward the ground. I'm a little slow here myself, so I'm going to follow him, try to pick up some angles where I can, and get back to my rate speed. Hopefully he's just doing yo-yos. I'll relax my pull and try to build my speed back over 400 so I can follow him up again. And speaking of numbers, let's talk about the rate speed of the Mirage. And disclaimer, I'm no expert on the Mirage 2000 or dogfighting in general. I just like to share what I've experienced, and remember, as always, take what I say with a grain of salt. That being said, I think the top end of the rate speed is around 420, with the low end being around 360. You also have to take into account the temperatures of the map you're playing on, the altitudes. Hot map, fly faster. Cold map, the engine performs better, he can fly slower. And even with that, I like to prioritize at what G's I'm pulling. We're in somewhat of a downward spiral, so I'm going to go ahead and pull and try to close the gap. I get the lock and look at the closure, and he's like plus 130, so he's not pulling away from me, and I'm actually closing. Let me guess, reverse here?
Oh, no.
I hit him in the front and the back. Sounds like a rap song. Oh, his engine just exploded. I don't think I've seen that before. There's no way he recovers from this, so I'll go ahead and eject and prepare for round 3. So the Mirage 2000 is a top dogfighter. I mentioned this earlier that it's one of the best rate fighters, second only to the Hornet, and it only loses to the Hornet by a few degrees, but then beats it in the one circle. And that's why it's such a top rated fighter, because the only aircraft really that can compete with the Mirage is the Hornet. I did leave out the MiG-15 because technically it can outrate both of these aircraft, but because it doesn't have an afterburner, it's just not a top contender. But I am curious to see what the MiG-17 is going to be like, because it does have an afterburner. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm about to merge, and I like to merge around 500, and I'm going to try to mix it up and go one circle. I just want to give him a different look and see how he's going to react. I would go one circle against the Hornet every time, but this is not my preference. I've always said if you can win the rate fight, I believe that to be the safest path to victory. But I do have a shot, and I just miss him by an eyelash. But I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the other player to be higher than me.
Let's see what kind of a shot you are, Pilgrim. You missed that one. Try another.
Especially here, as I'm spiraling down and he has the high position.
I have the high ground.
Instead of pulling for a shot here, I'm going to try to go up and get above him, let him go behind me, and then when he's lower, I'll pull with gravity for my shot. I feel like we've been here before, as his complete vertical stabilizer and rudder have been shot off, and there they are gently floating down to the ground. As we take a closer look, his plane is very damaged, but with no sign of stopping. He's not done yet. But the misaligned circles are in my favor, so I'm about to pull for another shot. That's a lot of fire and a lot more damage. And in fact, if you look behind me, there's something on fire and falling to the earth. I am very impressed that he's still going.
I didn't hear no bell. I'm the best around. Nothing but a hammer. I'm warning you, sir. The best around.
How is he still flying? This is beyond amazing and impressive. That was actually my last bullets, but I think it's safe to say that I've won this round.
All right, we call it a draw.
I'm just watching to see if he's going to eject. Which he does at the last moment. Oh, but right into the fire.
It's the final countdown.
So we've entered into the final round, round 4, and I hope you have enjoyed. And I have enjoyed flying the Mirage 2000. In the short time that I've been playing DCS, it's been one of my favorite modules. It does make me a little bit sad that it's currently not available, but I am optimistic in Digital Combat Simulator that in the end, everything is going to work out for good. And for this last merge, we are going to go one circle, try to make it a little spicy. But after I merge, I'm going to pull lightly on the stick. I'm going to let him pull for the shot, and I'm going to try to jink it and then fall in behind him.
Yeah, boy.
There's the jink, and there's the shot. This is kind of an awkward position, but I'm watching him as he goes by. Now, many times an enemy will pull hard here and try to get another shot, and that's when I'll increase my speed and go under them, and a lot of times they'll hit the ground, but he doesn't even take the bait. Now, I am trying to keep it in a 2-circle, but I do see an opportunity to cut the circle, but I make a mistake here as I misjudge his aspect. I didn't realize he had the energy to pull into me, and my mistake turns into a head-on. And I talked about this earlier, how you do have to be careful when you cut the circle. If you cut too much and pull too much much lead turns into a head-on, but I'm gonna try to fix this. I'm gonna be patient, put this back into a 2-circle. So I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. I'm watching his aspect. If he pulls into me here, I'll stay more to the left, but it looks like he doesn't have the energy to do that. I'm at the high end of the rate band, so I'll go ahead and pull for the shot. He's gonna go for the overshoot, which he gets, but I'm not even thinking about slowing down. I'm just gonna do my Viper strategy and go around. I know he's slow, so I want to be very aggressive here. I'm watching him here on my downward spiral, trying to keep my angles tight, pulling down to the low end of the rate band around 360. I want to capitalize now on him being slow and not let him get any angles or any speed back before I can take a shot. Now the circles are misaligned here in my favor, so I should be able to pull here and get a shot. But lucky for him, the sun aligns with him right when I wanted to take the shot. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to relax my stick when he's at the closest point in my HUD, let him shoot away, get to the top of my screen. It's like missing recycled day. It sucks. You gotta wait for it to come back around. And somehow I lost a little bit more speed than I wanted to. So I need to focus on getting my speed correct. Moving my circle over just a little bit more. Don't take the shot here. Let him explode away, get to the top of the screen, and set him up for this misaligned trap to where he can't get out. As he sees my nose coming around, he's been doing a good job of jinking, but I honestly feel like I've let this go on way longer than it should have. And then again with the sun, I hesitate. And I think that's a great camera angle to show you just how our circles are misaligned. There's the reverse. Don't pull for the shot here. Let him go by. Try to get higher than he was. And then when he stalls, even though I'm slow, we'll pull in behind him. Now I don't have the lock, but I've used the spaghetti line for so long, I use it like a measuring tape and it's pretty accurate. Being a little compulsive, I have to hold myself back from taking more shots. And if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. I just want to say, thanks for watching.